August the 3rd, 2025. Guys, I have the satellite image paused just for a moment. You're looking at infrared images, and as you see the sunrise, you'll see it change into your what they call the true color image. But this is British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba's right here. The reason I have it paused is because under this infrared filter, you can see fires at night. Look again right here, guys. Saskatchewan right here over into Alberta. And the smoke plume is one of the largest I've seen in the last few years. We've seen some large ones. We're going to take a look at it. I'm going to let it play through. You'll see it sweep as the sun rises. Look at this. Now, that's thick, but when I back out and look at the entire northern section of this satellite, its view, guys, you're going to see quite a stream. They're still burning the north rim of our beautiful Grand Canyon in the national park there. I guess, I don't know if it's out of hatred. They're not trying to do something with it. And if I don't care what they're saying, if they're flying a few planes through there or whatever, that thing should have been put out day one. And it's like demons, when they know the house is going to be taken away from them, would rather burn it down. Same way with Arizona politicians. They know they're in trouble because of their connection with the deep state and the cartels. Anyways, it sweeps through. That's what you're looking at. Now, before I back all the way out, I want to scan down into Arizona in that area. Now, I've got this section paused too. This is the southwest. You can see the fire in Southern California we were talking about last night right there. Here's the northern rim, and this tiny dot is telling me that this thing is advanced now way more west, and this one is burning back north. And this lighter section is about all the forest they have on the north rim. And guys, there's thousands and thousands of beautiful creatures that live there or trying to live there. And you may see a few more spots pop up as we let this play forward. Again, it's going to sweep into daylight. You can see the fires here. As the day gets hotter, you'll more than likely start to see the fires at the Grand Canyon really start to explode. Here's California. We'll get a little closer, see if they're getting any break from this offshore wind current coming in over that area. And going in close, you can see what I'm talking about. At kind of mid-level, you've got a west to east movement in this upper level here. But the smoke has not gotten that high. But it's starting to turn. Last night it was starting to move offshore, but now it's starting to move south. You can kind of tell it right there. And that's going to turn it, it looks like, probably back towards the east, guys. So for the firefighters there, stay on top of it. You've had enough trouble, and especially with the people running your state. Now let's back all the way out and take a wide view here. You can see that trail of smoke, guys. Look up there. It's even almost reflecting off the top of the clouds. Watch this. Very dense all the way through there. Look at that. You can see it. This section along the Great Lakes has been getting it for the last few days, and it has been moving further to the south. Now, you notice that this expansion of moisture coming off the Gulf of America is pushing some of it back north. That's a good thing for us. And guys, it is only 92 as far as heat index, and it is 1254. It's 84 with 75% humidity, but we've been dealing with 120s, one day 131, 132s in the heat indices. And so it feels very nice, bright and sunny right now. And you can see that a lot of this moisture is over into Alabama, Georgia, and the Carolinas and Tennessee. Now, of course, we're watching this system, 60% chance of development as it moves off into the Atlantic. That's what it is predicted to do. More than likely, you guys in the UK are going to get some of this. Now, you may be spared one way, and is that there's a high-pressure system that's forming just west of the UK offshore, and that could do some blocking of the storm and force it around you and make it go north. Now, looking into the Pacific, this is a very large storm. This is what we may start to see in the Atlantic. Look at that right there. Very large storm, and it's because of the heating. Now, the Pacific has had a couple storms. We really haven't. This is going to help the East Coast. Even if it's just a few degrees or 1 degree, that's venting off the excessive heat, and it gives everyone a break from the water and on the land. Now let's take a look over the Atlantic itself. You can see the coast of Africa here, and they're watching this area for development right in here. They've got a very wide arc with a 30% chance, and it's a big area, so they haven't pinpointed the exact area that it's going to form in yet, but we're going to take a look at that warning now. This little system, again, 60% chance of developing and moving out into the North Atlantic. Now, the whole area is trying to heat up. This system here more than likely will not develop. It will add moisture and be caught up into the system that's moving right there. See that? Now, again, this one is a 30% chance of development, and this one being a 60% chance of development, even though it's not coming back into the mainland, we don't think. That's going to tell us that it's going to strengthen as it crosses, guys. So be aware of that. Now it'll get up into cooler water in this area and start to slow down, but it's going to have a forward momentum with it and probably a lot of moisture and wind also. Now this just changed, guys, about 10 minutes or so ago, and they've added this little 20% chance of development just off the shore of South and North Carolina there. It says off the southeastern U.S., an area of low pressure could form in a couple of days a few hundred miles southeast of the Carolinas. Some gradual development of this system is possible by weekend as the system drifts to the northwest. Now, northwest is back towards the shore. Now this is a 70% chance instead of a 60% chance, and you can see the direction. It says environmental conditions are conducive for this system to acquire additional tropical characteristics, and a tropical storm is likely to form by tomorrow. And if you check out the Outer Banks beach cam, you can see the water still feels that energy. It's a very powerful, tight system, and it is throwing waves still. Even as it moves away from shore, it's still throwing a lot of waves up again on the Outer Banks camera. Now, while we're talking about it, let's just go there. This is called the Sunset Pavilion on the Outer Banks, and this is definitely pier fishing. If you're gonna fish, it's probably a little difficult with the wind and waves, but I definitely would rather do that than be in a small craft. This is high energy, and it's a good thing, guys, it's not moving into land. That may be changing over the next few weeks if we get a big one out there. So, but the emphasis of wanting to look at this is that this whole area needed to be cooled off, and that's what we're seeing, this energy right there. Check that out. Let's look at one other camera in that area. Now you can tell the dust is really up because you can see it in the atmosphere in front of the camera through that area. And again, I can see, it looks like maybe that's a boat setting offshore there, or the end of a pier. I think it's a boat. It's not a small boat though. But again, this energy being released is making it for really a good beach day. I wouldn't want to get in the water unless I was really good at swimmer and knew exactly how to look for a rip current. But don't let your kids go in there as the camera glitches up. Now let's go south just a moment. This is Myrtle Beach down there. They're calling it the Myrtle Beach Volleyball Camp. You've seen it just about every hurricane season on this channel. And the one good thing, like I said, it's a great day, 77 degrees. Look at that, 2:04 p.m. They're on the East Coast. And notice the wind's coming from offshore here. But in the upper levels, it's moving offshore. See that? Right through there. But they're not getting the pressure. It's moved a little further north. But the whole process of these tropical systems that big and that strong is exactly what we need. And that's exactly what you're seeing right now, the cooling down of this planet in God's perfect plan. Now, the only thing that's got a model on it as far as a spaghetti model is this Invest 95 setting off the coast we were looking at. And you can see pretty much everything is going to go south of St. John's. This is the Navy model right here. That's got it closest. So you guys in Halifax, St. John's, you're going to see the impact of this motion. Of course, cooler temperatures, but very high waves and possibly a lot of rain. So just stay, everybody in that path going forward, pay attention to it as it moves in that direction, because it is strengthening at this moment. Now, Bermuda, you look like you got lucky here. Now, we've seen Bermuda get hit pretty hard the last few years with storms coming out of the Atlantic and making this turn over them. And Fox Hurricane is starting to show some modeling of the next few days. What you'll see here is it starts right here. The storm moving out now, Invest 94, I think it is. But the second one coming off Africa. And why I want to point this out is because of this orange area is high pressure. And like I said, normally these things will turn up into the Atlantic, right? But if that high pressure stays just like, and actually follow this path, just a big loop. But if this high pressure closes in behind the storm like we're seeing it doing it now, you guys along the East Coast have to pay attention. We don't know what's going to happen, still a few days out, but the high pressure is the steering mechanism. Hurricanes come off the African coast or out of the Caribbean. Their natural tendency is to turn north, but so if it's all low pressure, nothing's going to really impact the U.S. from Africa. It's all going to turn up. But we've got a couple things here. High pressure looks like it's going to stay, and the fact that the report last year from Europe about the tropical convergence zone, guys, moving 151 miles north. And like I say, each time we talk about that, the report stopped from that news agency about this. They showed a lot of greening from the satellites in areas that hadn't been green because of the moisture moving further north. But we don't know if it has stopped that movement. And I think it has to do with the angle of the Earth and the sun, because the hottest spot on Earth is going to be the closest one to the sun. And so if that hot spot where these hurricanes form is moving to the north, then the planet is tilting to the south, if that makes sense. But anyway, let's take a look at two more models. That was the Canadian model. This is the Navy model. Those are the two ones that I watch the most. We pay attention to all of them, but they seem to really get accurate in the last few days. Now watch what happens with the second storm now. Remember the little dot that popped up about an hour ago? Look at that. Following and coming up. Why would it not follow this one? It's because of the high pressure. Watch this. See how strong it is right here? So this is getting back up into New York area and everything, and this storm is already starting to form. Out here is the second storm, but we're still seeing high pressure even crossing very far south into the Atlantic, pushing down past Cuba and into the Gulf of America. So that's going to keep anything forming in this area in this line. But right now, this one's sneaking in to right here to kind of an opening, possibly part of it created by the storm that's moving towards the UK. Right here, and that's coming in. Let me stop this as it comes back around. We'll make it go slow. All right, that one's going out. The new one will be forming. Our date is August the 6th, right there. Today's the 3rd. Now we're on August 7th, August 8th. Skating in the Outer Banks, the 9th, it's there. 10th, right there. You're coming into what's that, the Long Island area through this section. So the 10th, so you're 1 week away from this area, but it looks like the Outer Banks, you may be only, 5 days or so away from an impact in this area. And what you just got a taste of with the wind starting yesterday for the Outer Banks and Carolinas was possibly just a taste of what's coming, because this storm may not pull out behind it. What we are going to do is watch it very close. And if we do get a break and behind the first storm, let me speed it back up. This one would pull further out, maybe impact further up north. But that, again, this is what the Navy's showing. Now, this is the global forecast system. It's very accurate for the first few days, but it extends out further in time, and that means it becomes less accurate. Even you'll see it go past the 10th. See, it's on the August 17th, 19th. So it becomes less accurate at that point. But what they're showing is the current storm moving out, second one forming here. Now it comes closer inshore, catches North Carolina, and really scrapes a little bit closer all the way up the East Coast. Let's watch that one more time. As it gets there, I'll slow it down. We'll take a look at it. There's your first one going out. Speed that back up just a moment. Here. Now that is August 8th. You can see your timestamp, August 9th, right on top of the Outer Banks. So if you're planning for next weekend to go to the East Coast, make sure you got a good solid place to stay and watch your rip currents. Here we're coming up to August 11th. It just skated Long Island. The 12th, it's kind of ashore, getting torn apart. Anyway, guys, that if the further it goes out, the least or the less accurate the global forecast system is. But it's very accurate for those first few days. We're watching this, guys. Things are really heating up. Again, the video we did a few days ago when I was complaining about the lack of storm systems. Well, it looks like all that's changing, and we need it. We got to cool things off. And a lot of places need the moisture. We're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.